Counterpunch promo live in 3, 2, 1.
Once upon a time, they awoke to the concerted effort underway to dummy them down, to the forces working at every turn to water down human wherewithal. They stood, they rallied, they drew their line in the sand, vowing once and for all to scale their spines and mortal up. That was the day the tables turned, and the universe itself sat up and took notice.
Live from the Counterpunch Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy on IPMNation.com. If you're not going to mortal up, why not just stay in bed?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full context psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Studios and multicast live, as you know now, on mortalup.com and also over on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I got to thank Wayne for that, working all the logarithms out. With a very special shout out to two companies that make our little AM soiree possible. Of course, Lee Rowley's copy branding and Blender Buffer. I just love this tagline. Shh, happens. More about them in a bit. And if you're heading for the shower or out the door soon, this is radio that sparks your smart, that crushes your can't, that primes your mind for the day ahead. And if you're already out and about, I'm fired up to be your virtual hitchhiker, to fit right in your cup holder. Do people have shirt pockets anymore? I don't know. But in any event, I'm ready to go along for the ride. And if we've missed you this morning live, don't forget On Demand. We have a rebroadcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Overcast, CastBox. Is there any other names I can drop? Oh, Blurberry, I probably could have said. Greetings wherever you are here in the Garden of Mortals, the labyrinth of life itself as you've come to know it, the ups and downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots, the swerves, the flukes, the whims. You gotta love it, the sheer havoc of the synchronicity and serendipity of it all. Blind alleys and cul-de-sacs, of course, that's what it's all about, but never a dead end unless you and I decide to tap out. Until then, we're always putting your heart's highest priority top of the list. And the reason that we do that is that puts you in the perfect position to out-brutal the brutal. That is the cut and shuffle that fate can deal you on a daily basis, and to bring your own bold once and for all. But before we hit it this morning, as always, a quick hello to my friends and those joining us from all over the globe. It truly is great to be hanging out with you. So what do you say? Here's our opportunity together to mortal up, to crush your cant and your critics, and simply to demand that your mind's eye and your true potential live wide open. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. And again, thank you all so very much for joining us this morning. I'll hop over here in a thread in just a minute. But what I wanted to talk about this morning is, you know now, to get everything off of our chest, we called it last night the dance of the vapid. But in our segment this morning, we'll go ahead and cue that up right away so that we can get going. We'll be right back. Hot heads wrapped in thin skin covering brittle brains atop balsa wood spines? It's time for lowlifes making headlines. Well, yeah, I gotta tell you, I love that brittle brains atop of balsa wood spines, right? Hot heads wrapped in thin skin, and the dance of the vapid, what I talked about, or as I mentioned in the tweet last evening. And that is, and I think maybe I'm a little sensitive to it, just given everything that I've gone through in the last 2 or 3 years. And you meet other people that have gone through similar things or worse. I stopped yesterday to get a quick drink. And the person that was there also, she, a quick shout out. I don't want to mention her name because, she didn't give permission to, but quick shout out. Well, she also had a brain tumor and had the challenges that come along with it. So I would say that it leaves me a little more, when people throw terms around like, I don't know, socialism, free everything, free this and free that. And I think about what has happened to a human mind if you think that everything is something that should be given to you, that everything is a right, that everything, you have a right to a cell phone, you have a right to this, you have a right to that. So I think for this morning's Low Life making headlines, no particular name, just a suggestion that from time to time we're aware, as I call it, the dance of the vapid. Right, where everyone and their brother is lining up. And we got to be careful in every country in the world, not just here in the States, but all over the place where you go, you know what? There's something about having to really apply yourself. There's something about all of that where it's just something to think about. All right, so we're going to do a quick break, and then we're going to jump in this morning to, I think it's the 60-second Stoic coming up here in just a minute, and I've got some other news that I want to share with everybody, as I said yesterday that I would. So let's do this, and then we'll get to the news of the day.
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. How much longer will you let them hijack your head and your heart?
All right, so let's get right to it. Hijack your head and your heart. I say, let's put an end to that. You can give me a call this morning if you like. Don't forget, 833-MINDUPS, MINDUPS, or 833-646-3877. You can also text me at that number. They'll text right in here to the studios, 833-646-3877. I'm told that I'm supposed to say that standard text rates apply, whatever those are. So just so you know, the call is toll free, but I guess they ding you for the text. I saw something the other day where Mug Pamphlet has decided, we may have to start doing this or that. So who knows what's going to go down over here? But just like that, there's almost a fee for everything. So be forewarned if you want to text us in. But let's talk about that a little bit. What is it that we're doing that allows people to hijack our heads and our hearts? Are we too interested in the committee vote? And I said yesterday, a part of the plan of distracting you, a part of the plan of making sure that we're dovetailing with the vote, the committee vote at large, is this normalizing of social pressure, where everyone wants to be politically correct. Everyone wants to not do any triggers, not say this, not say that, not do this, not do that. But the disparities continue to grow because we don't mortal up. So that's what I wanted to focus on this morning as we get ready for the 60-second Stoic. What it is we need to do in order to put and keep our heart's highest priority top of the list. Very simply that. All right, so let's do it. Let's get to the 60-second Stoic. Right after that, we're going to open up the feed and see what everyone's up to. Time for your 60-second Stoic. It's simple, really. Embrace the suck or be buried alive. Probably won't surprise you by now that I happen to be a huge fan of Stoic philosophy, not just Marcus Aurelius, but Seneca, the whole gang. And this morning, I'm using another quote from Seneca where he basically says, look, sometimes just the act of living life is courageous. And you think about it, you get up day in, day out, you know what I mean? And maybe other people have flawed expectations about what you can pull off. But you get up day in and day out and you hammer it, you hit it, you keep going, you mortal up. And I think that's what he meant by it. Sometimes just living life on your terms. Sometimes just getting to the point where you're like, hey, you know what? Well, I want to be able to pull this off. This is what it's going to take for me to be happy, for me to be successful, for me to feel fulfilled. And that takes a hell of a lot of courage, I believe, is what he's trying to say. So let me ask you, what are the things that you do in this, again, the committee vote, the sea of flawed expectations, right? Everything they do to try to normalize mediocrity. Oh, it's okay to be mediocre. Oh, you've got this. Well, what if you decide to tap your inner brilliance and let that out? What happens then? Let's go ahead and jump on over into the feed this morning. And we're still working, I want you to know, we're still working on getting it to where you can come straight into IPM Nation, the chat room, so that we have everyone over there and everyone can see and interact with everyone else as well. Let me say good morning to Lee. Good morning to Henry. Good morning to Kathy and to Marcellus. Thank you so very much for getting up bright and early and joining us. I super appreciate it. Let me see. Who else we got here? Oh, Lee, exactly. You woke up. Now earn it. Exactly, Lee. That's what we're trying to say. A time of entitlement. Yeah, right. Thank you, Eddie. Try empowering yourself. No one owes you anything. It is up to you to live your own life. Absolutely agree. And I think that's what, and again, with some of the challenges that I've been that all of us are up against of late, we kind of look at it, or I look at it now and go, really? You're going to use your head as a hat rack. You were given a human mind, not a hamster mind. And please, people from PETA, don't ring the phone off the hook. Not a hamster mind, not a lobster mind, but a human mind. And you think that doing, as Henry says, you think of doing anything other than empowering yourself is the best practices. You know, hear all this time, best practices. That's the best practice for being granted a human mind. Just something to think about. And more importantly, what can we do to make sure that we don't fall into that normalization, that we don't fall into that sense of a bland, tepid mediocrity? And I think, as I talk about every day that we do the show, I think that the key is to make certain that you put your heart's highest priority top of the list. Don't let anyone talk you out of what you want to do, how you want to live, the passions that you want to feel. Because it's in you to do it. Whatever it is, it's in you to do it. And that's why I'm so excited about this morning's early morning meme. We'll get to that, as you know, right at the bottom, or pretty close to the bottom of the show, because it ties all of this in. But I think Seneca was right. Sometimes even to live is an act of courage itself. So today, what will you do to be courageous? What will you do to empower yourself? As Lee says, exactly, you woke up, now earn it. You have a human mind. And the point of earn, I have to tell you, Lee, I like that, because are you qualified to even run? Right? How long has it been since you put your mind through the paces? How long, like a lot of people talk about, one of the things that you can do right away is some deep breathing exercises, right? Deep breathing exercises and how it allows your lungs. I say all the time, put your lungs through their full paces. But let me ask you a question. When's the last time you put your mind through its full range of paces? When's the last time that you said, no, I'm absolutely going to be a little narcissistic. I'm going to be a little selfish. I'm going to do what I can. Now, it doesn't mean we run around in a bubble. Doesn't mean we run around ignoring everybody else all day long. But what it does mean is that every so often, just a little bit here and there, little bit here and there, we get to the point where we say, you know what? I'm going to do something just for myself. Love the early morning meet. Well, thank you, Kathy, very much. And Kathy, if you don't mind, if I could ask a quick opinion, the early morning meme obviously goes out, I think it goes out over to Facebook, it goes out to Instagram, and then we'll have it here in the show. So we're trying to use that as a way of integrating everything together. I'd love your thought and your input as to if you like that idea, or should we wait and announce the early morning meme here, then should it go out? So we're working, and a special thank you to Wayne Noel as well for helping me with all the technical aspects of it, and also some of the more run a show kind of stuff. So I would love to learn from you, Kathy, what you think. Oh, speaking of loving to learn, Rob and Slim, I was on their show last evening. Thank you guys very much. There's no way you're up and listening, but if you're listening to the on-demand rebroadcasts on iTunes or Spotify or wherever, then I would say to you, thank you for having me on last night. I had a blast. Good morning, Miriam. Thank you for hanging out. I love other morning people. Well, good. Well, now you have an opportunity to come and hang with us if you like. So thank you so very much for joining us. Henry says, a mind runs a marathon every day. The problem it has is to drag this body behind it. Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed. Henry, thank you very much for that. All right. So I wanted to make mention this morning, speaking of Lee, and he says, oh, you got to get up. You got to earn it. I just love Lee. And I say weirdly, Lee, but that's barely scratching the surface of what Lee is capable of. And you ought to check him out over at Copy Branding. Let me throw his QR code up. Now, this is something new. Don't forget, if you're at your computer and you're watching at your laptop, your big computer, you go, oh, well, I'd like to learn more about Lee Rowley and how he's a master at working words, right? How he's a master of making sure that, as I've heard him say before, if your clients, they think like you know them, you know exactly what they're feeling. Well, it's a process and I should congratulate Lee. He's got a book that's coming out pretty soon, so we're all very excited about that. And I'll be here in a couple weeks, be voicing over the audio portion of that book, and it is truly an honor. So if you get a chance, check out LeeRowley.com or just hit the QR code here. I'll put it up also at the end of the show, and that'll give you an opportunity to catch up with Lee as well. All right, so let's do this. We said we would hop into crimes of mind, so why don't we do that quickly this morning, and then we'll go back to the thread, see what's going on, and we will go from there. Ever wonder if you're your own worst enemy? Waving the white flag of surrender whenever confronted by the binge thinking ricocheting around your own brain? Well, we call that the crimes of mind. Right away. Before we do, though, let me say hello to Ken Ratliff. Ken, nice to see you. Hope retirement is treating you absolutely great, sir. Hope everything's going well. Lee, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's just, far be it for me to say what I really feel, right? So that's just the way I feel about you. All right, so crimes of mind this morning. True happiness, this won't surprise you at all. True happiness comes, right, from not always looking at the carrot at the end of the stick. True happiness comes when we enjoy the present, right? But not an anxious dependence, as Seneca would call it, throwing in another Stoic, right, or more Stoicism. Not an anxious dependence on the present. Not traumas of the past or tantalized, if you will. Remember Tantalus from the Greek myth? He reaches up to get the grapes go out away. He reaches down to get a drink of water, and the water goes away. Not to be tantalized by the future, not to be traumatized by the past, but live in this particular moment in all of time. And that's when true happiness comes. That's when true joy comes. And I think that's probably why, for me, it's so that this concept of Stoicism, as people that have been in the military will call it, embrace the suck. I like to say, through my travels in China, the Tao follows its own path. That type of thy will be done, right? Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil. Thy will be done. Meme first wake up inspiration. Well, thank you, Kathy, very much. I super appreciate that. So maybe what we'll do is we'll keep it going on Instagram. We'll keep it going over on Facebook, and then we'll also announce it here in the show. I think that's a great idea. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so again, what is it going to take for you and I to live in this particular moment in all of time? Remember, I don't know what's up with Greek myths this morning. I must have had wild dreams last night. But you remember sirens. That they would call, and Ulysses said to his guys, "Oh, you got to tie me to the mast." He was like Bill Murray in what was that movie where he played with Richard Dreyfuss? What About Bob? Right? I think was the name of the movie. But remember, Bill Murray was tied to the mast of the sailboat as it was sailing around, and Bill Murray was screaming, I'm sailing, I'm sailing. Well, same thing. It was a knockoff of Ulysses from the Greek myth, and he had his guys tie him to the mast of a boat. They all had to plug their ears with, wax, but there was the siren's call, and the sirens were the nymphs that lived over on the island, kind of a rocky shore kind of thing. But the siren's call off in the distance, a call to the future, would cause the boats to come in, hit all the rocks, wreck, sink, and there you go. But Ulysses obviously didn't want his crew to hear, didn't want the boats to sink, so he made them all plug their ears with wax, tie him to the mast so there was nothing he could do about it, so he could hear the siren's call. But for me, that's always meant being called out of this particular moment, right? Being called out of this particular moment in all of time. So what can you and I do? Just not fall for it, not fall for the committee vote. Listen to that inner whisper that we talk about. Listen to the passion of your own heart. In fact, put your heart's highest priority top of the list. That's like almost like wax in the ears, right? Because if you're listening to that still small voice, if you're not being pulled out of this particular moment, if you're not following a carrot on the end of a stick, if you don't have, as Seneca would say, that anxious dependence, then you know exactly what you're doing in this particular moment in all of time. So just something to think about. All right, so you are more than welcome. Also in the text, thank you very much. Glad to see. Thank you for joining us on Twitter as well this morning. I super appreciate it. Also over on YouTube. And see, this is going to be the benefit, I think, of having the chat room at IPMNation.com, is everyone's questions or comments or thoughts or critiques will all come in at the same time. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. So we're looking forward to that. And I say we're working on it now. A couple more tweaks to the website, and I know Matt Connerton at IPM Nation is working on that. So thank you all for putting up with me yet again, and just for all the bumps that are trying to figure out how to do this exactly. As I said to Rob and Slim last night on their show, I'm learning as I go, right? How to do this. So. Any suggestions that you might have would be great, and we'll see what we can do to incorporate them right into the show. All right, we're going to go a little bit early to, I want to mention this, a little early this morning. And also, as you know, the blender buffer, which I have here on set, and I have one upstairs that I always use, just a way for me to get what I need, my morning cup of coffee without waking up the whole house. So if you get a chance to check out Blender Buffer, well, I often think, boy, it'd be great if they made a Blender Buffer for little kids. It'd be great if they made a Blender Buffer for my critics. Just like a life-size one that they put right over the top of someone. You could put the lid on and you'd go, oh, yeah, I can get rid of them. That's perfect. All right, Blender Buffer right now. There's the QR code if you want to check them out. I know the inventor, great guy, and it's what's cool about it is he does everything he can to try to, help with the little things that nag us in life. And here's the lid, right? So you get your blender inside, you go like this. Here's the little disc, the lid. You go whoop, and then you go shh. Happens. So thank you again to Blender Buffer. All right, so let's do this morning. I want to go ahead and jump to the early morning meme a little earlier, no pun intended, a little earlier than we normally do, and then get into a little bit of breaking news from my neck of the woods. So here we go. Let's do the early morning meme, and we will be right back. Want the perfect way to jumpstart your brain, to prime your mind, to hone your heart and your head? Here's today's early morning meme. Well, look at that, won't you? Today's early morning meme. And I just learned something else about how this works. So there you go. All right, so today's early morning meme says, rub that lantern all you want. You're the only one who will ever grant your wishes. Rub that lantern all you want. You're the only one who will ever grant your wishes. There's the early morning meme for today. And yeah, a little bit of knockoff on the on the myth, the fairy tale, whatever you want to call it, but a little bit of a knockoff on that. So here's the thing, and that's great news, right? That you're the one that ultimately decides, that you're the magic that you've been waiting for, that you're the brilliance that you've been waiting for, that you're the cheerleader that you've been waiting for, that you're the cognitive bodyguard that you've been, all the things, right? As we say all the time here, everything you ever truly needed, you've always had. You're the one. No more amnesia. Plug for the shirt. No more amnesia. Oh, also I should talk about the Mortal Up bumper stickers. And again, thanks to our good friends at Lee Rowley Copy Branding. The Mortal Up bumper stickers, let me know if it's something that you want, and I'll figure out a way of getting one. Because I bump into some people that go, oh, well, we don't put bumper stickers on our cars. So I go, okay, great. But for those of you that do, if you'd like one, then let me know, either here in the thread or, I don't know, it's a DM, IMs, whatever they are, something M's. Get a hold of me and let me know your address, and I'll get one out to you. All right. Well, I've only got like 25 of them. So for the first 25 people, I'll get those out to them. All right. The reason that I wanted to go a little bit early this morning with the early morning weed was to let you know, as I said yesterday I would, we had a little visit to the Columbus Cranium Shack. As you know, we had a chance to go over. And even though I call it the Columbus Cranium Shack, I have the utmost respect for the team. Well, maybe not the team, but at least certain doctors and other people on the team. There's some of them I really, But in any event, we had the meeting yesterday with the doctors over at the Columbus Cranium Shack, and what came out of that meeting was that this will surprise everyone here in the thread, that I still have a hole in my head. Go figure, right? So over the next few weeks, we'll be identifying what we need to do in order to plug that hole, right? And all I said was, look, isn't there a can? I got a can here somewhere. Isn't there like some Flex Seal, right? Some spackle? Isn't there anything that we can do to just get in there and once and for all plug this darn thing? And he was like, yeah, no. Well, there is one thing, there's another brain surgery. There's another attempt to get in there and, like get some dirt and pack it in there, or maybe some chewed gum, get in there and plug up that hole once and for all, because it is a challenge for those of you that know, for those of you that have ever had a situation like this. It's a challenge to go through the day leaking spot. I know you're thinking, right? But here's the thing. You wouldn't drive your car around, to check. So here's, I guess, what you could say about what I learned yesterday. The check engine light is busy flashing when I head in to see the doctors, right? My check engine light is flashing. And the doctor's like, yeah, you know what? We should do something to see what that check engine light is all about. Well, that's the news of yesterday. I'm one big walking, talking in their minds, in their eyes, check engine light. So over the days, over the next few days and the next couple of weeks, we'll be identifying what it takes to finally stop the leak, right? What it takes to plug it up. So, but it's not going to change what we're going to do. We're going to stick here on mornings. It might change a little of my routine throughout the day. There might be some times where I go, I'm heading over to the spa, right? Getting a little tuck and nip and tuck. Getting a little cranial nip and tuck to see if we can't stop this thing. The swelling is just a pain in the tuchus, I got to tell you. Bondo body filler. I love it, Marcellus. That's exactly what I need. Bondo body filler. Are you kidding me? Killing. Ooh, that was a Freudian slip. Are you kidding is what I meant to say. Kidding, not killing, kidding. Are you kidding me? Bondo body filler. That's exactly what I need. Just like a cranial version of the Bondo body filler. There's just enough room, space within that skull of yours for all that knowledge. That's all. There's not enough. That's what it is, Henry. You know what it really is? There's just not enough room in here for all the stupidity. So the stupidity takes over my mind, and it literally, it kind of elbows in, like you're getting on the L in Chicago or the subway in New York. You're busy elbowing people out of the way so that you can get a handhold. So the stupidity in me just elbows the spinal fluid right to the hole in my head. But for those of you that have known me for any period of time, you go, it now makes perfect sense. That's what's wrong with him. He's got a hole in his head. Right? Literally. I'm certified. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. But thank you for joining us this morning. And we will be back, right? So today's Thursday. See, this song's got nothing on my memory. Hi. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll be back. What's today? Wednesday? See, this song's got nothing on my memory. See? We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, with another version of All Natural Being. Thank you all so very much for putting up with us. Thank you for tuning in. And we hope, as we do each and every day, we hope. Oh, good morning, Sarah. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Please tell the boys we said hello. We hope that this is a show that allows you to do just that, to mortal up, to go kick in some doors, to jumpstart your day the way you best see fit. All right. Oh, also, I wanted to make mention, Telestream is the company that makes all this possible. If you're interested, you go, I would like to be able to get on camera and broadcast and do this rant and that rant, and I'd like to be able to carry on like a guy with a hole in his head. Then here we are at Telestream. Hit the little QR code. It'll take you right there, and it will tell you everything you need to do so that you can have your own go. Kathy, have a great day to you as well. Henry, thank you so very much. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. We are out of here.
listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.